Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to use the third-party OIDC provider in the GENESIS64. You can use the third-party OIDC as the authentication for WebHMI, and you can provide GENESIS64 authentication to the third-party as well in the General tab. At the OIDC relying parties here, you can provide the GENESIS64 authentication to the third-party client as well. But in this case, I will use the third-party provider in the GENESIS64. That means GENESIS64 as the client to consume the authentication provider data and matching to the user in the security of the iconics. The provider just for the user identity clarification, but not for the permission. The permission of the user, you need the security to configure that for you. For example, if you would like to specify which user what can do, you can configure here. Okay, now get back to the global setting here. And at the web login, you can configure for the in-house application use web login and in-house application use web logout. Specify the authentication type as the OIDC or OpenID Connect, and specify the URL of issuer URL and client ID that you have configured at the third-party OIDC provider. In this case, I will use the key cloak. As you can see, this is the issuer URL of the key cloak. And the key cloak UI configuration, I have the real master, that is the default realm. I need to create a client, for example, in this case, GENESIS64 client here. And its name here need to matching to this client ID. That means we will use the client ID from the key cloak here. And at the GENESIS64 client that we have created, we need to enable, and we need to specify client ID, name, and the root URL, GENESIS64 server, and the home URL of the application that you would like to authenticate. You can use this, or you can use as the star after the path, for example. And this is a valid redirect URL of security sign-in at the GENESIS64. You can check on this. You can copy from the web login tab of the GENESIS security, as well as the valid post logout here. From here, the web origin is the URL of the GENESIS64 and the admin URL. And this is the important section, the capability config. We need to configure for confidential by client authentication to on, and authentication flow. We need to select service account rule, direct access grant, and standard flow. And that's it. Now go to the credential tab, and you need to use the client ID and secret, and then copy this, the client secret, and go to GENESIS64, use the client secret here. Click on this and paste to this. Click apply. And you need to select use PKCE here. Select OIDC scope to request as profile, and use OIDC claim as the username of the key cloak claim list, and find the existing user by display name, and now verify that the list claim is available by click on this link. As you can see, this is the preferred username that I will use the SCADA because the current user is SCADA. Now at the tab General, select active here. If it is testing or inactive, just select active and hit apply. Then trying to use the WebHMI, you configure for a specific user. For example, I have the default group here, any. This is the default group, and I'm not allowed to use the GDFX for this group. That means the people that not log in cannot use the display file. They cannot visit the website of GENESIS64 or WebHMI. The logged in user can use the page. As you can see here, allow this operation to all file here, and the deny is empty. That means I will not allow the people for the default group. Okay, now let's testing. I will log out from the key cloak, and then I will get back to the WebHMI by go to. It will bring you to the login page. After login, it will get back to the display. And when you need to log out, right click on any blank area and hit login and click on logout. As you can see, this is the logout of the key cloak provider. Click on sign out, and now you are signed out. That's it. Thank you for watching.